Hi, this is Mac Thornberry. Welcome to another edition of our video mailbox. I always appreciate it when folks take the time to send me an email or a letter or a fax or put up a post on our Facebook page. And every once in a while we'll take out a few of those comments and answer them here on the video. And so we'll get to it for this week. We have an email from Mark, for example, that says, "Dear Representative Thornberry, I urge you to oppose the administration's proposed new $200 TRICARE for Life enrollment fee. And please oppose increases in pharmacy copays for military dependents and all military retirees. Adequate benefits and pay for those who serve and for those who have served should be considered part of the cost of defending the nation." Well, Mark, I agree with you. The first thing we've got to look at is what does it take to get and keep top quality folks to serve in our military? What we also have to look at is what are the promises that we made to people who, if they serve, the government will provide certain benefits for them. There's all sorts of rumors and ideas floating around out there right now as we look at a very real problem in the budget, including a real problem in the defense budget. But I think in that context that we in Congress and the administration needs to be very careful about changing the rules of the game for people who have already served this country. Anything the administration comes up with is going to have to come to Congress, where we've got to take a careful look at it and before any changes are made. So I agree with you that we shouldn't change the rules in the middle of the game, and we ought to keep our eye on the ball, and the ball is getting and keeping the kind of people we absolutely have to defend this country. We have an email from Andrew that says, "I have a Texas concealed handgun license and would like your support of H.R. 822, National Right to Carry. If my driver's license and my marriage license is valid in another state, why not my concealed handgun license?" Well, Andrew, I share your opinion. As a matter of fact, I'm a co-sponsor of H.R. 222, which says basically if you have a concealed carry permit in Texas and choose to drive across the state line into Oklahoma, that Oklahoma has to honor that permit in their state. I think that just makes sense. As you say, states have that sort of agreement with driver's license and other things. Why not for this license as well? But it's interesting, I've been getting a fair amount of mail recently from people who say they're opposed to this legislation. And I think what's happening is there's a rival pro-gun group that is sending out mail and emails saying that this national right to carry law does more than just require states to honor another state's right to carry license. It says it will require a new bureaucracy and all these other things. This is one of those cases where I invite you to read the bill yourself. It's not hard. Go on the House website and just punch in H.R. 822. It's a very short bill. All it says is that one state has to honor another state's license to carry a concealed handgun. But I also think it's important to again remind folks that take everything you get from emails and in the mail with a grain of salt, especially from groups that are asking you for money. Because what may be going on is that you've got rival groups trying to gin things up to become the advocate for gun owners. And sometimes when they're doing that, they stretch the truth a little bit. Look for yourself at the bill. I think this bill makes sense. I think it's very simple. It doesn't cause additional problems. It just says one state has to honor another state's concealed carry permit. And I think if you look at the bill that you'll agree with me on that. We've got a letter from June and Dave in Wichita Falls that says, "Thank you for your recent visit to the meeting of the Wichita Falls Tea Party Patriots. Your presentation and discussion was very informative. As you're aware, EPA has issued new rules requiring pollution standards for coal-fired power plants that will hurt Texas, resulting in loss of jobs and rolling blackouts." Well, June and Dave, I share your concern about this. EPA at first said that this rule would not apply to Texas, and then at the last minute they said, oh, it will after all. And by that time, of course, there's no chance at all that Texas is going to be able to comply with this rule. So it will hurt us if it were to take effect. We have really been putting a focus in the House on regulations all summer and fall, trying to reduce the amount of funding going to EPA and some of these other regulatory agencies. But what we've also been doing is passing laws specifically that prevent certain regulations from taking effect. So we're going to keep doing everything we can to prevent this regulatory onslaught from drowning us all. Most of these bills have not even been taken up in the Senate yet, but we're going to keep pushing on this one because it affects everybody in Texas, and many others because they affect everybody in the country. And on a similar note, I got an email from Janet who says, "Mr. Thornberry, I am very angry that you think we people are all stupid. I went to the website you said would answer jobs questions and found no answers. Instead, I found more of the same talking points that are mostly lies told by Republicans like you." And on a similar note, I got a message from Facebook from Scott that says, "The federal government is making it impossible for me to expand my business. They take over $1,100 annually in license fees, and this year my business has contributed in excess of $20,000 in extra taxes, not including income and sales tax. Why does the federal government make it so hard on small business owners to operate?" Well, Scott, I think you've given a very good answer to Janet. Those are exactly the sort of concerns that I have heard from small businesses all over our area. They're concerned about taxes. They're concerned about regulations that make it hard for them to operate. They're concerned about what the health care bill is going to mean to them, and especially if they were to hire somebody, what it would cost to do that. So that's exactly what we've been trying to deal with as our jobs approach in the House. We haven't put it all together in one 2,000-page bill to roll out. We've been doing it piece by piece, but it's been to try to put some certainty in taxes, try to hold back regulations. We voted to repeal the health care bill and do other things that get the government off small businesses' back. I think a lot of folks in Washington don't understand that it is small business in the private sector that creates jobs and economic growth. It's not government stimulus payments. So that's the approach that we're going to continue to follow. And Janet may not agree that that's the right approach, but I think it's clear and it's set out in the website I mentioned. It's www.jobs.gop.gov. There you can go and see the specific jobs approach we're following and track the status of the bills. And you'll find a lot of them have passed the House but have been stuck in the Senate. We're going to keep pushing because this issue of jobs is too important to let go. That's all we have time for this week. Again, thanks for listening, and we'll look forward to seeing you again with some more mail. In the meantime, keep them coming.